Hello, NFL football fans, fantasy football owners. It's yours truly, the NFL Exporter, NFL fantasy football expert analyst, Lance Goodman. We're heading into week 3 of the 2017 NFL fantasy football season. I'm helping owners get their draft boards together in this particular segment. We're going to talk about players who are boom and bust, meaning what the expectations for them are. Can they meet them? And if not, then they're certainly going to be looked at as a bust. We're talking about guys who have the individual talent. Again, there's expectations on them to perform well, but if they don't, then their season could be a waste, and owners will be very unhappy that they drafted these players. Let's get things started right now. We're talking about Melvin Gordon of the Los Angeles Chargers. Right now, he's ranked 5th on my board at for fantasy football running backs. Had an outstanding season last year. Expectations are sky high for Melvin Gordon. Really doesn't have any competition behind him. Can catch out of the backfield. Looked excellent last year in his second season, and I think it's all or nothing for Melvin Ingram this year. If he doesn't put up, 1,200 plus rushing yards, 10 to 12 plus TDs, then you're certainly going to be scratching your head on why you decided to take him in the first round or two. Jordan Howard of the Chicago Bears, there's no doubt about it, after rushing for over 1,300 yards last year. For most fantasy football analysts, he's ranked inside of their top 10. I have him currently right now at number 12. If he doesn't come out and perform well, and I'm skeptical on him right now, he's certainly a guy who owners will view as a bust. Jay Ajayi, another guy out in Miami, came on strong once they gave him the starting role last year in Miami. Another guy, 1,200 plus yards, 10 plus TDs. That is what owners are expecting and picking Jay Ajayi right now. He's ranked 7th, 8th on my board for fantasy football running back. So owners are expecting a huge year from him. How about Michael Thomas, wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints, ranked 10th for me. I see him ranked, and a lot of other websites and analysts have him maybe around 6 or 7. With a ranking like that, expectations are, in that 85 to 90 catch range. Definitely, 1,200 yards and 10 plus TDs. And so if he's not able, if he comes away with like 70 catches, barely gets 1,000 yards, 7 or 8 TDs, then that certainly will not be what owners will feel that they paid or get a return on their investment. I think the same holds true for Devonta Adams of the Green Bay Packers. Finally had that breakout season last year. 12 touchdown receptions, a couple yards short of 1,000 yards. I think he's the solidified number 2 wide receiver out there in Green Bay opposite Jordy Nelson. I think if he can duplicate those numbers, you'll be extremely happy. Again, if he can get 1,000 yards and 12 receiving TDs, then you'll certainly be happy with that. I think if he ends up, in that 700 to 800 yard range, 6 to 7 TDs, then you certainly are going to be looking at him as a player who you're not getting a return on your investment. Allen Robinson out in the Jacksonville Jaguars, that quarterback situation over there is in complete disarray. And it's a shame because Robinson has the individual talent. I think it's all or nothing. I can't see Allen Robinson having a middle ground. I think he has a year that fantasy owners, a couple games into it, will put him on the bench after he disappointed last year, or he'll rebound and have a big year. Alshon Jeffrey out for the Philadelphia Eagles with Jordan Matthews gone. He's the number 1 receiver there now. Should be a target monster, especially in the red zone and around the goal line. I think if Alshon Jeffrey can't come away with 80 catches for around 1,000, 1,100 yards and 10 TDs, then owners certainly will be disappointed there. A couple other guys who made the cut, Stephon Diggs. Look, last year when you looked at his numbers, 84 catches, 900 yards, you certainly like that. Those 3 touchdowns won't cut it if he can put up those same numbers and get those touchdowns up into that 8 to 10 plus TD range, and he'll certainly be a guy who's an excellent value pick. Todd Gurley, I think there's no middle ground for him. I think he'll either be a disappointment like he was last year. Owners will lose faith in him early and put him away on the bench, or Todd Gurley will rebound and be back in up around, I'll respect 1,100 yards. They don't have a lot of talent on that Rams offense, but I think 1,100 yards, 9 to 10 TDs, it certainly will get Todd Gurley back on the radar. I think those are some players that without question you're looking at boom or bust. A couple other names that come to mind are Demaryius Thomas, out for the Denver Broncos. He's a guy who had 100 catches last year, over 1,000 yards, but it was kind of an every other week thing. I think he needs to be more consistent. For other great segments like this and everything that you need to know to get you ready for your fantasy football live drafts, visit me, www.NFLExporter.com. Also, send me a friend request. Get down with the movement. The page is crazy. It's very interactive. We've got the best fantasy football owners in the world. That's facebook.com/NFLExporter. Again, that spelling is NFLExporter.